I'm doing something really quickly for Halloween. And this story is called Chiquita Banana Goes Bananas. They call me Phil. It's my real name. The whole world knows me as the doughboy. You know, the cute, animate, sentient cookie dough with an infectious giggle and a smile to light the world. That's me. I admit I don't mind being a product picture and a household name. All the other mascots do their work as well as I do, and all was well in mascot land. That is, until Chiquita Banana went, well, bananas. It was a normal day for all of us, including myself. Getting up, preparing oneself for the day, shooting commercials, doing interviews later if need be. Chiquita had some other mascots wooing her. Only one had caught her eye, and that was the rich Count Vincent Chocula. Chocula was a bit older than other mascots, but Chicky, being the gold digger that she wanted to get to know him better. I was thinking, she wants to gain access to his bank account and become acquainted with it. This was when unusual matters started occurring. Not long into the relationship, Victor turns up gruesomely dead. He was boiled in a vat of chocolate. I had the unfortunate task of processing the crime scene and began interviewing Maria Contessa Luisa Fantasia myself. She evaded all the obvious questions, indicating she was innocent. She was quite convincing, especially the crocodile tears she cried during the funeral. I didn't trust her, not for one moment. If she had offed Vincent, just as I suspected, I wanted to know more. I had been traveling down a dark pathway I never should have ventured down, but my inquisitive nature was about to get the best of me. Part of me wanted to believe Maria's lies and her pouty, sensual lips. I tried getting past the saucy Latin curves and the sexy accent, but being a hot-blooded male makes such things difficult. Don't repeat this to anyone, but she tried seducing me just to simply get her off the hook, because I knew that I was suspecting her suspicious activity. I had more reason to indicate her once I read her journals. I will never look at Maria Contessa Luisa Fantasia Chiquita Banana the same way ever again. I stumbled upon Maria's journals. I knew it was not meant for me to open the pages of forbidden knowledge, but her insidious intentions were written out in black and white. Her next target or potential beau, as she said, was Arthur, the planter's peanut. Arthur was a nut of means, just like Vincent was an affluent count. Before Maria had suspected I had read anything incriminating during my investigation, I had left the books where I found them. As any detective knows, a potential suspect can become suspicious, especially when they sense they are being profiled or watched in any way. Other product mascots are becoming apprehensive. Madame Butterworth and Uncle Ben, happily married. No, they are off the hit list, but Betty Crocker is becoming concerned that her husband Duncan Hines may be in the siren sights. Both make quite a bit of dough, but Betty's mixes are preferred over Duncan's, so I have heard in whispers amongst the shopping aisles. Despite this, he is the breadwinner of the family. Sedona, the Land O'Lakes lady, and Penelope, the sun-maid raisin gal, had been chatting, and many insults had been flying back and forth about Maria's exploits. She hadn't gotten close to Arthur, but was fraternizing with Lucky the leprechaun. I didn't know she dug gingers, but Lucky, too, was wealthy. He had quite the extensive stash of gold hidden away so that no one else could access it, and only he knew the code. I was concerned for my friend's safety, and after peeking into Maria's diary, I knew he was going to be your next victim, so I had to act quickly. Lucky was going to head out for an evening on the town for Maria one moonlit night, wearing his best designer duds. I did my best to sway him away from her coy ways, but she told me I was simply overreacting and acting like a wet blanket. I knew then I had to follow my friend, lest the same horror befell Vincent, robbed him of the mascot realm too early. Before I went out, Tuca and Sam, Tony the Tiger, Snap, Crackle, Pop, and Cecil the Baker all let me know that they wished me best of luck. The cereal aisle certainly felt emptier without Vincent, and the cereal mascots knew this better than any other spokesperson in the supermarket. I had to do this for not just the serial scouts, but for every other mascot in existence. Besides, my reputation as one of the best PIs in the district was at stake. If I failed, I could lose more than my job. My entire life, my career, would be one step closer to being flushed down the crapper. Since I had thwarted Maria's attempt to assail Lucky, she instead was setting out to paint the town red with Arthur. I had the sneaking suspicion the night would end badly for her because I sensed deep in my gut she was packing heat in her oversized purse. Come on, no woman in her right mind carries a purse that gargantuan in size without hiding something so obvious and fatal. I knew it had to be an AK, although a woman could want something with less kickback. Maria wasn't your typical woman. She wanted his inheritance badly. She was spending her ill-gotten gains from Vincent very frugally. If she was able to whack Arthur, she would be comfortably well off for years well into her golden days. The force thought I was loony, but now, with my camera in hand, I would have the proof I need to lock Maria up for a very long time. I had no idea what had driven her to such a state. Apparently, she had delusions that her Latin charm and feminine wiles could bait anyone into doing her each and every little whim. It was sick, twisted, and altogether wrong. Before anything else could go south, I had to act, and fast. Wearing another undercover outfit, I followed Maria into the Club Flamingo, where she and Arthur were really shaking a leg. She excused herself and headed to the bar, where she started chatting to the bartender. I would like to order the special, if you know what I mean, guapo, she said in that serpentine velvet accent of hers. I saw the bartender drop the rat poisoning into Arthur's martini and quickly pulled off one of the best portrayals of being blitzed to the nth degree. I knocked quite purposely into Chiquita and a frilly cocktail smashed into pieces in the ground. Enraged, Chiquita pulled out her AK-47 and began firing willy-nilly at me. I blocked the brunt of the bullets, but they had no effect on me. She forgot that bullets cannot pierce through dough, and I absorbed them, and they leaked out of my body, tinkling on the ground musically. I grabbed her by the hand, revealing my cover. You've got a lot of explaining to do, I said as I hoisted her to the station and had her questioned by some of the best agent the force could muster. With proof I had racked up, then I knew the oncoming trial would be an open and shut case. While Maria was being locked away holding for processing later, I decided to comfort Arthur and have a bit of guide time alone with them. Arthur had given me his utmost respect. He had thanked me profusely, as Lucky had before, and noted if it hadn't been for my quick thinking and ingenuity, both of them would probably would have been dead. A new Count Chocula had been inducted into our circle. He wouldn't replace the original by any means, but he respected Vincent, and honestly, Vincent would have wanted it this way. The serial I would never truly be quite the same, but at least it was becoming more normal day by day. Maria was at last away for a long time for manslaughter, embezzlement, and even credit card fraud. She wouldn't be returning to Mascot Land, and she would have more than likely become forgotten. One day a replacement would be called for her as well, but for the time being, we all healed from the shock and horror we had faced. I could finally sleep peacefully at night knowing that my friends were protected and the force had done its job. Justice had been done and the villainous had been locked away for good. I could finally get some much-needed rest and make sure that Phil Jr. and my wife Cookie were going to be okay as well. As long as I had my rapier wit and my deductive reasoning, there wasn't anything that could escape my eagle-eyed vision and my lynx-esque detective skill. Phil, a.k.a. the Doughboy.